Hi guys, I just want to take a few minutes to talk about what everybody's been talking about the past, less than 48 hours. Um, I want to talk about how David Bowie was important to my life and how his death affected me. And um, first, I was introduced to David Bowie at a really young age. My family and I were kind of Jim Henson nuts, and we obsessed with anything having to do with Jim Henson. And of course, Jim Henson made Labyrinth. And so as a child, I watched Labyrinth. I didn't really get it at the time, but I watched it over and over and over again. And, David Bowie, particularly David Bowie's bulge was kind of the star of the movie. And I remember as a child, I would always just like stare, just like, there's a lot going on down there, and stuff like that. And then as I got older, I'd seen more David Bowie films, and then I'd actually gotten into his music, and specifically in like late grade school, early high school. I felt like David Bowie was kind of like a safe place for me because, back in the day, he wore a dress, wore makeup, and, was made fun of for it, but he didn't even care. And that's kind of like, I was a bit of an outcast. I'm still an outcast, but, growing up, and especially in like the crucial years of high school, I just felt like I was so alone. And David Bowie was like someone who understood me, and I understood David Bowie, and so there was definitely a deep connection there. And the other night, the other day or last week, he had his 69th birthday, and then he released his album. And 2 days ago, I was watching the Golden Globes, and on Sunday night I was watching Golden Globes, and it had ended, and I just couldn't sleep that night. I didn't really know what was going on, but something just didn't feel right. I tried to read. Um, I tried to stay off the internet because going on your smartphone when you're trying to sleep is like the worst thing that you could possibly do, because it messes with your melatonin levels. And so I just tossed and turned. I was like, this is annoying. And finally, like 3 a.m., I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go and see what's going on online because I'm a rebel, I guess. I don't know, I do things I shouldn't be doing. And so the first post I had seen was, "This is really awful news. Um, Rest in peace, Ziggy." And I was like, um, I knew who he was talking about, but I just wasn't, believing that it was happening. And so I then scrolled down a little bit more, and a few of my other friends that were awake that had posted stuff on Facebook, said like the same kind of thing, and I was like, my heart stopped. I dropped my phone, and I cried. I cried for so long, like sobbing. I haven't really sobbed in a really long time, and it was it was absolutely heartbreaking. And for the next 2 hours, like I was on and off just crying, and it was like one of those once I'd stop, I'd like, you know, try to get composure, and then I would start all over again. And finally, like 5 a.m., that was the last time I looked at my clock. I fell asleep shortly after that, cried myself to sleep literally, and uh, the next day, which was yesterday, well, I mean, the following morning, which was yesterday, um, I had a hard time. I struggled trying to, not cry all day. And I was driving to work, and, they had announced that David Bowie had passed away, and they played Let's Dance, and I didn't really think I was going to be able to handle it at that time. I totally turned it up, and then when I got to work, I was like, shoot, our work plays David Bowie songs like a lot on the from the radio, and I was just kind of dreading it all day. And of course, the David Bowie song did play. It was just a coincidence, and I kind of had to take a deep breath because I knew I was gonna lose it, and it was okay. I made it through the day, And I was remembering back to when Lou Reed passed away. I was like, I was devastating in itself, and I was just like, I'm not looking forward to the day David Bowie passes away. And it's happened, and it was rough. It's still rough. Um, but I'm grieving, getting a little bit better about it, and um, oh, I listened to his new album. And listening to it now after he has passed away, it actually makes a lot of sense. It makes it feel like, you know, he had liver cancer. He was diagnosed like 18 months ago, and seeing this now, I feel like everyone around him knew it was coming, and I guess this is a good thing because everyone can say their goodbyes properly. I had no idea. I don't really know if it was announced to his fans that he was sick, but maybe they wanted to keep it, just personal, which I understand. And back like several years ago, I knew a person who had said that he didn't understand why people would cry after a celebrity's passed away, because it's not like you knew the celebrity. It's not like the celebrity would ever come to your funeral and cry. And it's always really bothered me because it's just so wrong, because so much of who I am now is from people in my life that I never even met. And David Bowie, even if people aren't fans of David Bowie, that's totally fine, but I feel like David Bowie influenced so much, so even if you aren't a fan, probably something in your life was impacted by, this man. And even if I feel like, I never knew Jim Henson, but I was like 6 years old when he passed away, but I was totally affected by that. And even today, like, I'm still so influenced by his body of work because he has done so much. And like even Mark Twain, I never knew Mark Twain. I never even was alive during, I was born like 80 years after he passed away, and I'm still very much affected by, his writings, by his sense of humor, and I actually wanted to read something. John Donne, someone else I'm influenced by that I never even met. Um, he wrote, um, this is something you probably all heard before. It's from an excerpt from Devotions Upon Emergent Occasions, specifically the 17th meditation. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less. As well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manner of thy friends or of thine own were, any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. And I read that because I definitely feel like we are all connected, even if we don't, know these people, but, we are all affected by their deaths. When someone dies, a part of us goes too. And, back in the day, they would ring the funeral bells when, someone had passed away. And it's just saying, it tolls for all of us. When someone dies, we're all in this together. Everyone's part of each other. Everyone's part of mankind. And I just wanted to read that because I like it, and I just feel like it's kind of relevant. Well, it is relevant to things going on. And I wanted to leave you guys with this. Someone, I don't know if it was Simon Pegg himself or someone from his PR team that wrote this, but someone from his Twitter account tweeted, "If you're sad today, just remember the world is over 4 billion years old, and you somehow managed to exist at the same time as David Bowie." And I think that's really cool. And I just want to say thank you for watching. Sorry this wasn't like a happy thing, but I just wanted to talk about David Bowie and how important he was, important he is, and will be for the rest of our lifetime and for lifetimes ahead. So yeah, that's all. Hopefully the next one will be something entertaining and happy. But I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Alright, love you guys. I'll see ya. Bye.